Let's do something different in this video. Let's talk about your gripes and your complaints on the Chevy Colorado. Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. But first, before we go to your gripes, let's go ahead and do a walk around. I'll do an exterior, interior. I'll give you my likes, and we'll talk about the sticker and what the price is. Then we'll get to your dislikes. So this is the 2023 Chevy Colorado ZR2. It is the alpha male of the Colorado lineup. We have the bigger 285 70 R17 tires. I think those are 33 they back calculate out to be. We have a ZR2 with a flow tie. We have skid plates. We have red tow hooks. A really cool blue color. The black on the hood as well. We have the nice sidelines here. Crew cab. We have the rock rails. We have the Multimatic DSSV dampeners on the rear wheels right there. Those are really impressive shocks. We have the ZR2 there, and we come around the sides. We have the Colorado, and we have Colorado. So that's Colorado. This is Colorado. All right, yes. I happen to be on the way to Denver, so I stopped at this sign because I thought it'd be kind of, well, cute and clever. And so on the sides, we got rid of the step because we have the more ground clearance here. They moved this up out of the way so you're not going to smack that on the trail. The exhaust is over there as we come around. We see the Multimatic DSSV dampeners. We see them on each side either way, right? And we see the really loud semi. But Chevrolet likes to invert their shocks, one this way and one that way. So they've always kind of done their shocks that way. We have the rock rails there, okay? And we have in the bed, as we come down, we have a dampened tailgate. We have this opens here for a unique kind of storage option. Where's that? It's on this side. Oh no, excuse me, it's this one. I always get confused. I always want to open this, but it actually opens this little spot here. You can add your own do-yourself screw-in piece if you want a separator in there. Plus, we have the drain for like holding beer and fish and that kind of stuff. We have some tie-down spots there. I do have one plug in the back, 120 volt, 400 watts of power, and I have a sprayed-in bed liner. And so, go up with that. Now, in this crew cab configuration, which is the only way you can get the Colorado this year, we don't have much rear legroom. This is something we've talked about and something we'll discuss more. But I have my suitcase. You can see my friend got in last night, and he was 6'2". As you can see the rear room there. I do have some vents back here, though, which is really nice to have in a crew cab. And I have USBs back there, too. So nice vents. I'll take that for the win. And then come around the interior. We see this nice double stitching here kind of set up. This is hard plastic where you want it to be. This is kind of a softer plastic. We have a little bit of chrome here as well. I have some big air vents. You've seen this in the Blazer, other vehicles as well. I have the trailer brake controller there. I have underneath the hood. We'll check that out in a minute. There's our big screen. There's our HVAC systems, our front locker, rear locker, the auto start stop, lane control assist, auxiliary plug in the back, all windows down. Wireless charger. We have the controls for the shifter and different drive modes as well as auto 4-wheel drive. A couple of cup holders. Interesting stitching here. And yeah, we have a double kind of setup here for storage for the bin. And we have a nice little ZR2 right there. So that is kind of the interior styling there. I have a sunroof there too. And we'll talk more about these gauges. I'll turn that on here in a second. So that is the ZR2 interior and exterior. Let's go ahead and grab that sales sticker, and it might be better on this side in the shade to grab the sales sticker and go over the details on this if you were to go buy one. Okay. So here we go. 2023 Chevy Colorado 4-wheel drive ZR2 crew cab. This glacier blue metallic jet black Artemis interior. The engine's 2.7 liter high output version. It's a 8-speed, second generation 8-speed automatic transmission. We have some warranty information. We have some 17-inch cast aluminum wheels, the lockers. We have the tires. There's a spare tire. We have OnStar 4G, driver front passenger remote heated seats, remote vehicle start, keyless start. It's all just in a key fob, which is always nice these days. We have inside rear mirror, which is interesting with the key fob is there is the remote start, but there's no tailgate down button, which you find in other trucks as well. There's a button on the key fob, drops tailgate behind you. Handy at stores driving up to, or you can do some work. Power lumbar. We have wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. We have power out, the tilt telescoping steering wheel. Steering wheel is wrapped. We have a 11-inch digital display over there. We have the Stowflex tailgate. That's a standard feature. Rocker panels, bed liner, the power dual, outside mirrors, fog lamps. Headlights are LED. Fog lamps are LED. Raycover Hicks trailer package. We have some safety equipment. So our total vehicle price is $46,800. When we add the ZR2 convenience package, which is driver memory settings, heated steering wheel, jet black armrest, center armrest back there. That's an option. Like, and the map pocket, driver's seat back. That's so crazy. That's an option these days. Rear cross traffic alert and all this different safety equipment adds $1,000. Technology package $950. Audio system premium, which is kind of nice. I've been getting some nice subwoofer sounds out of this. Front license plate, rear axle 342, all included, all in $52,670. 16 for your different fuel economy. Let me and it's built, by the way, in Wentzville, Missouri. Let me show you this pocket, which I think is just hilarious. That we've now gotten to the point where this is an option. Yeah, remember like stuff was like standard, like you couldn't have a car without this? Well, not the case. So this is the map seat back pocket. That's now an option. It's just interesting. Okay, let's get to your my likes. My likes are simple. I like the way it looks. I like the way it drives. The engine performance is really good with that. I like all the off-road capability. I have rock crawled with this. I have gone through the desert with these kind of trucks, and you can go really fast. You can rock crawl. You get the shorter wheelbase versus, say, a heavy duty or a longer Silverado. And yeah, there's lots of good things I like about driving this, except for my biggest gripe is I'm either too short or it's too tall. One of the two is the problem. I'm getting the AT4X. I got tired of getting out of the Colorado. I've gotten tired of getting out of. I actually have a Silverado at home as I bought, and I just took it to the shop to get some work done on it. But I was driving that around because I had better running boards. I could get in the Silverado easier than I could the Colorado. And the Silverado is a full size, which is kind of crazy. So I mean, those are all things I like about it. There's again, power, the performance, all that kind of stuff. So let's talk about a lot of your dislikes. And first of all, let's start with this back here, because this is the bed always gets lots of topic conversation. So this is like a 5-foot bed. It's a really short bed. And so the conversation is, why can't I have a little bit longer bed, another foot? Well, there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, we have 17.5 feet long, or maybe a little more than that. We can't go longer than 18 feet. We cannot go longer than 18 feet. Now, why? Because one of the top buying reasons for this truck is that it fits in a garage. So I can't go any longer with the truck. That's not going to happen. I lose most of my customers. I also don't want to go much longer in the ZR2 version of this either, because I want the shorter wheelbase. Okay? So there's a couple, again, valid reasons for doing that. Now people say, well, Tim, I got to have the extra foot. And my question for you is, what are you hauling? So I hauled in, I don't know, probably 100 sheets of drywall in a 5.5-foot bed truck. Drop tailgate, put it in there. Like it was fine. I'm not sure what in this situation you'd be hauling that wouldn't fit in here. Like a motorcycle, maybe maybe the back tires over here have to drive the tailgate down. But I don't know. It seems like we make such a big deal about this tailgate down these days, and I don't quite understand it. Like my 1962 C10 was designed to have the tailgate down, and actually the hooks turn over. A little bit different design than this, obviously, 60 years ago, but it's meant to drive the tailgate down. Like that's never been an issue for me. I know a lot of people will say, well, Tim, a truck's not a truck without an 8-foot bed. I've been reviewing trucks for 12 years, living with trucks even longer than that. I don't have a need for an 8-foot bed. For me, I just go get a trailer if I need something that long, because trailer is easier to load. Usually have a running board set up as far as you can drop the rear deck down, load stuff easily. So for me, anything longer than that, I'm in a trailer. So I don't know. I mean, you tell me. Now people will say, well, hey, how can you have this and have a fleet, right? So, what's a work truck customer going to do? He's got to carry stuff. He's got to carry 2x4s. He's got to carry sheetrock, that kind of stuff. Fleet customers aren't buying this. I was online at commercial on Chevrolet.com/commercial, and the Colorado versus the Silverado difference is a couple $1,000. The Silverado versus the heavy duty, it's like $10,000, and I think customers are doing that. I think they're going from the Colorado to skipping right through, going to Silverado heavy duty, and why wouldn't you, right? For 10 grand more, which most businesses have that money to spend, you get a lot more payload, which I'll show you the payload sticker. You get a 6.5 foot bed. You get a crew cab that fits 4 or 5 real size adults, like 6 foot tall adults, right in there. And look, the payload's only 1,231 pounds. Heavy duty, you get double the payload, better towing, bigger cab, fits bigger guys, longer bed, and the price point's kind of in the same realm. And I always think that fleet customers now are buying the Ford Maverick, the smaller truck, versus this, because it's 9 grand less, better fuel economy, and yeah, for a fleet, it's all about fuel economy and price. So I think that's what they're buying. So I don't buy the argument that fleets are even buying this truck at all, even the Colorado, no matter what. And I don't buy the argument that you need this 8 foot bed on this or another foot on the bed. Again, what are you hauling? That's my question for you. And if you're doing something longer than a 5 foot bed, you're getting a trailer anyways. Like I wouldn't drive the tailgate down hundreds of miles, like all road tripping. I'd put a trailer back there from hauling a motorcycle or hauling a lawnmower or whatever. And also the fact that if trailer back there, again, with that ramp, it's easier to load. So that's my viewpoint. Okay, let's talk about rear seat legroom. That was another complaint. You heard me talk a little bit about that as far as heavy duty trucks. But yeah, there's not a lot of legroom in here. And my friend was 6'2" and didn't have a lot of I don't have a lot of legroom behind him. But I don't think that the legroom is the end-all be-all factor. I think it's headroom. And what I mean by that is my friend was 6'2", and I picked him up last night, and he got in the truck, and he had to take his hat off in the passenger seat because his head was sitting in the top of the seat. Other friend at 6'6", his head was like through the sunroof. So, they can't make these trucks any longer. Again, we've discussed this. 17.5 feet, 18 feet, they cannot make it longer. The standard average U.S. household has a two-car garage, 18 feet deep. This truck's got to fit in that garage. So for me, if height or length is going to be stuck, let's go a little bit wider. Let's go a little bit taller. I think that'd be the benefit. I think that'd make a bigger difference for a lot of taller guys, especially depending on how you're built. If you have long legs and you have a short torso, this is not for you. If you have short legs, long torso, then you could make this work. Again, if you had a little bit higher of a truck, a little more headroom, and I think a little bit more headroom, a little more shoulder room would fit a lot more guys, and leg room would just be a little cramped. Okay, let's get back on the road so I don't miss my flight. That'd be important. Yeah, so that's a lot of fun. So let's recap here. So we talked about the bed, which was one of the big complaints, and we talked about the rear seat legroom. And I think in both cases, if you're over 6'2", 6'3", this is not a truck for you. I think if you need to haul long things for business, for work, for camping, whatever, this is not a truck for you. So, I think that's pretty simple. So yeah, it's not a truck for you. That doesn't mean that you can't make it work. It's just, this is made for a certain type of customer. And check it out, they make a Silverado ZR2, the same type truck like this, just bigger. And they make a heavy duty Silverado ZR2, again, just bigger, more payload. So you got to find the right truck for your needs. And I know a lot of customers have been talking to me about, they want this little mid-size truck because they want it easier to park, they want to fit in the garage, and they want the better fuel economy. But in this case, fuel economy isn't that much better than a full-size truck. Yes, you have to park outside. Yes, parking is a little more of a pain because trucks have gotten bigger. But there is no benefit in fuel economy going to a mid-size truck anymore. That's kind of a truck myth. Used to be smaller mid-size trucks have better fuel economy than full-size. It's just not the case anymore. Let's talk about the third thing that comes up a lot, and that is the engine in this truck. It is a 2.7 liter, 4-cylinder, turbocharged engine. And there's a lot of complaints about this from a couple things. First of all, people are like, why don't you guys go a V6 and get better performance? Well, it's not much there. It's depreciating gains when you add more cylinders. If you compare this engine to, say, Ford, who did the V6, there's not that much difference. I don't see that much performance difference by adding the 2 cylinders. And so why have the 2 additional cylinders where you're just burning excess fuel that you don't really need? In this case, think about this. This turbocharged engine versus the V6 of the outgoing model. The V6 outgoing model had 308 horsepower. The turbo in this has 310 horsepower. That sounds pretty close. Nah, it's all about torque. So this truck has 400 430 foot-pounds of torque, 430, at 3,000 RPMs. The outgoing truck had 275 foot-pounds of torque, big difference, at 4,800 RPMs. That's a big deal. The RPMs, when it hits max torque, is basically about how quick the truck feels, how powerful it feels. And so I would dare to say the V6 outgoing generation versus this, if I drove them back to back, the V6 would feel like a dog. It'd feel like a dog. It'd feel like he couldn't get out of his own way, versus this, it's got so much more power and performance. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, hey, you know, but this is more complicated, and this is more of an more expensive to repair than the V6. And it's funny because I've talked to engineers about this, and they're like, their viewpoint is actually the opposite. They think the V6 is actually more complicated to build than a turbo 4-cylinder. I know, it's kind of strange. And what's interesting is when I do the research on, say, reliability, which is always a big issue with turbocharged engines, if I looked at, like, Ford, for example, the F-150 EcoBoost versus the 5.0 liter V8, in my research, I found more problems with the V8 than I have with a turbocharged V6. And keep in mind, we've had small displacement turbocharged engines going on now for over a decade. If they didn't work and they kept having massive problems, automakers wouldn't warranty them, they wouldn't build them because there's no benefit to them, right? So they need to get these engines. Now, it's also a little bit of emissions, but I think this is really crazy to me. So I looked up a V6 AT4, which is a GMC Canyon I had last year, 2023 model, versus this 2022 versus 2023, excuse me, a year off. This one actually, this Colorado actually pollutes 100 grams per mile worse. So this actually is not better emissions. So it's just, to me, it's better performance. You basically have the torque curve you found in the old 2.8 liter Duramax diesel that used to be in this truck, but you get it in the gas form. That's the name of the game. So we talked about turbo, we talked about the rear seat legroom, we talked about the bed. We've also talked about these buttons inside the dash a few times. If you haven't seen the videos on this, the turning of headlights is a button on top of the infotainment system. We also, to reset the trip odometer, you have to go into vehicle and settings, then click the button and do this, reset that. It's kind of a pain. So we're moving now away from having a lot of hard buttons, and we're using more of the infotainment system, the radio system, which causes a lot of concerns, right? So first of all, we have a lot packed in that system, so if that screen ever goes dead, we have a lot of, it's gonna be expensive to repair. That's a big issue. We also have a lot of issues with, hey, you know, if I need to turn my headlights on real fast, how do I do it? Yes, there's some new muscle memory to be learned about where to do it at. I get that. I get that it's sake of change for the lack of sake of change. But I don't know, I was looking over here earlier on the way the door is designed and the way that the handrest comes over, and I have more armrest room than I think I did in prior generation, because the window controls are up further on this setting over here, which I'll show you here in a minute. And what that allows me to do is I don't have room for the switch anymore. The switch room is kind of gone. I can maybe put one next to the lights up and down switch as far as how would I change how vibrant the dash is, but there's just not much room there anymore, and I just worry about them packaging so much stuff together, especially when these trucks are basically rolling computers. They have a lot more technology, a lot more electronics in them, a lot more wire in them, and so I wonder if they're able to save some wiring by doing that, and then, you know, see what customers do. You know, this is probably going to spread throughout the lineup, as most brands do this. They roll out one thing, one vehicle, and it keeps going, and then after a while, we stop talking about it. It's kind of what happens. Okay, finally, let's talk about price. So this is $52,000. It's a very expensive version of the Chevy Colorado. It is a halo truck. It's the alpha dog. It's the idea here that you'll see videos in this, you'll see advertisements on TV about this, you'll see lots of websites running stories about the Colorado ZR2. This one is meant to get your attention. This is not necessarily meant to get your attention and then you go buy this one, because it's a halo. It's not how that works. What they're looking at here is they're saying, hey, we're gonna give you the most badass version of our product we offer. We're gonna give you all the features, because top trim levels have all the features. We're gonna show off all the best stuff we have. We're gonna get you interested in looking at the Chevy Colorado, and then you go buy another version of the Chevy Colorado. You go buy the volume seller, you go buy a Z71 or Trail Boss. I think they do an LT as a work truck, or different trim levels. So this is not the one you're gonna buy. But it doesn't matter, because it brings you to dealership. Dealers park them outside in big boulders and rocks, and they're like, oh my gosh, look at the capability of this thing. You see all these cool videos. And so the idea is get you interested. So looking at this, and if you do the math, it makes sense, right? So I just did the sales chart number. Last quarter, the Chevy Colorado sold 25,000 units total. That's per quarter. Let's do some easy math here and say 25,000 per quarter times 4, 100,000 trucks. So they'll sell 100,000 Chevy Colorados next year. That's it. Out of that number, they'll be lucky to sell 10% of ZR2s. Oh, and the ZR2 Bison, that's going to be single digits less than that. That's what their goal is, right? So you're looking at, what, 10,000? 10,000 of these Chevy Colorados will be sold at $52,000. Put that in perspective, I think they sold like 190,000 Chevy Silverados last quarter. So this is a very niche vehicle. It's not going to be selling that hot. It's not going to be the biggest thing. Again, the idea here is you can go get a lower trim level and buy for your needs, right? Because this is not everybody's needs. Now you're saying, well, Tim, why don't you just review the lower trim levels? Why do you review these really expensive ones? Well, again, like we talked about, halo vehicle, all the features. And from my perspective, when I've done lower trim levels, if I go to a dealership, for example, which I rarely ever do, I don't get these vehicles from dealerships at all. If I go to a dealership and I get a base level truck, you guys don't always watch those videos. So for all the people that tell me, hey, I wish you did more base level trucks or lower level trucks, you guys don't watch those videos. You just don't, unless I buy one and then you watch that one a little bit more. So I mean, that's the long and short of it is, automakers, from a marketing standpoint, they want to give me the latest, greatest, best. They want to tie it up with their marketing campaign. They want everything to match together to get a lot of excitement, to get you interested in this truck. They want to give me the best experience of this truck. They want to give me all the features, everything that's fully loaded, and they want you to see that, and then they know that you're going to go buy something else. And it's easy to go buy something else when you can go to the build and price tool on Chevrolet.com or whatever brand, and you're able to take this ZR2 and just take equipment off of it. So you take the tires off, you change the hood up, you get rid of maybe the exclusive color for this Z71 or ZR2 trim, you take the skid plates off, I mean, those are really basic things. You change the seats out, you know, I mean, that's about it. When you go lower trim levels, you're not like looking at a whole brand new different truck. So that's what I'd say about that. So hey, put your comments down below. What else are you guys really frustrated about this truck with? What did I answer? What you don't agree with me on? Because I know that's coming. That always is coming. And also check out the videos over here. Again, like I said, subscribe. I'm doing some really cool stuff these days. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.